I agree with previous speakers that this motion is indeed a very important motion and it needs to be supported 100%. If it was not for additional information to be collected, I would even have gone further to say this particular segment of a broader problem, we don't even need to go to a committee. It is something that we just have to agree here and then instruct the committee to do certain things and we move on, because this is very critical. Having said that, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I'm saying this because this is a component of a bigger problem. And when the Honorable Mongo was tabling the motion, I was thinking about the question, if we do what he asked us to do, what is the outcome? The outcome will be addressing one of the critical components of gender-based violence. And then I went further to ask myself, what should be our mission? Broader mission. I believe that a lot of the speakers that you spoke of before me were actually defining the problem from different perspectives. Some of them were talking about gender-based violence, others were talking about men in bed, others were talking about rape, and. Now, I believe that, and that's why to a certain degree I agree with Honorable Linda Mwende, that this motion needs to be broadened. Because by broadening this motion, we might bring in other facets that are critical to addressing a holistic problem that we are facing as a country. And each one of those facets, including the register of sex offenders, have different definitions and will only be approached differently also if we want to solve it. So I believe that by broadening this motion, it will give us an opportunity to look at this gender-based violence issue holistically. Now, I have a problem in the referral of this motion to a committee, because I'm hearing some of us in this House saying that the committees are already in place. But to some of us, the committees have not been established yet. So there's a contradiction already in the House in terms of what is the status of the committee as we stand now. Unless the committees were, of course, bulldozed, and unless the committees, of course, consist of certain members of Parliament, that is one concern. The other concern that I have is, based on my historical experience of the last 5 years, there were very critical motions were tabled in this House. One was, for instance, the whole issue of Swatiev and Kufut. It was referred to a committee. They came here with a report that one cannot even call a report coming from a committee. It was substandard. There was no issue discussed. The research that was supposed to have been done was only done with one stakeholder. Another committee that also I want to use as an example is the Committee on Legal and Constitutional Affairs, when they researched this whole issue of EVMs, the motion that I myself introduced, they went to
just put your system off to enable her to talk. Control, can you... Honorable Maggie Mensah is standing on a point of order. Can you try to push it? Can they do this? No, can they do high? Can somebody put that off? Which one? This one off. And that one off. No.
What did you do now?
No, I think the system is malfunctioning. Hey, don't play with me.
Going on its own.
Oh!
Look at this one. Look at this one.
Okay, it's on now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. With all due respect to Honorable Kavekotora, I would like us to concentrate on this motion and not to get derailed into other discussions, because I feel this is very sensitive, very painful, and it needs to be concentrated on. We can discuss other issues on some other issues, because the issue of broaden it, I also foresee that this is specific to child offenders and not generally to gender-based violence. I just wanted to make that correction, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Okay. Proceed, please, Honorable Kavekotora.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's just a comment that I also appreciate that comment. I'm focusing on this motion, and I'm just doubting, I'm not doubting, on the issue of the committee, I'm not doubting the competency of the people who are running the committee. I'm doubting the culture that is behind the committee establishment because that culture goes to the point of not only just putting people into the committees, but they also influence the outcome of the committee's investigation. And that to me is a very important point to raise in this August House, so that we can allow the committee to do their work independently from political interference. That's the point that I'm trying to make. But I'm not, on that score, Honorable Deputy Speaker, my issue here is basically that there are a number of questions that need to be interrogated. And I think Honorable Mensa Williams also went into that. There is a question that needs to be interrogated, and that's a question of what is it that we are doing wrong as a society? I'm sure that if you probe different people, you have to come up with different answers to what is going wrong. Because there are other countries of the same world that have successfully, addressed some of the issues that we are facing today. And then comes the question of how much do we know of the real problem? Do we really know why we have so many sex offenders? Yesterday or the day before yesterday, there was a contribution that was made here, maybe last week, that says that some of the people, men who goes and rape a 2-year-old, is by instruction of a pastor. The pastor says, if you want to get rid of certain things, go for a young baby. So these are some of the issues that one really have to start understanding. Because if we know that the people who are supposed to help us through, religious, are the ones who are now contributing to the problem, then we have to address this whole issue of those people who are responsible for those evil deeds. I mentioned countries that successfully address some of these issues. What can we learn, and where are those countries, and what can we learn from them, so that at least instead of reinventing the wheel and duplicating things, we learn from them and we start applying some of these best practices that we have all over the show. So I believe that this is a good start, Honorable Mongo. This is, if addressed properly, because somebody was saying that there is already a law in existence. And this is my problem. I even touched upon that yesterday, to say that, colleagues, let us understand that the law in itself does not solve a problem. The law is an instrument that needs to be used through implementation, activation, to solve a problem. But if you put up a law, and I think that has been the tradition, when you put up a whistleblower act, you say, we've done everything, we have a law in place. Maybe it's good to impress foreigners, but for Namibians who are facing daily problems, just saying that we have a law in place is not enough. What is important is the implementation of that law so that we go to the desired result. So with these few words, I still believe that maybe defining the problem more broadly and have a specific mission towards we're going might help us in basically solving the entire problem of gender-based violence. Thank you.
Thank you. I recognize Honorable Nekundi in the gallery. Nekundi. Can somebody put that? Yeah, okay.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, would I postpone the debate to next week Tuesday, please?
Sorry?
Would I like to postpone the debate to next week Tuesday?
To postpone the debate till next week.
Next week Tuesday.
Did somebody post? Yeah? Yeah, it's fine. Next week Tuesday. Anyone who would like to take the floor? No? Okay, I recognize. Yes?